Thank you.
Thank you, Mark, for those kind words. Um, I appreciate the opportunity. It's really been an incredible time for all of us. We are living in a peculiar America, and I don't know that you know all of the issues. You know all of the situations. So I'm not gonna try and explain or talk about that. I'm gonna talk about uh, how this is not new. You know, um, there's a song that says "Trouble don't last always." So I think that the landscape of the civil rights experience slash social justice, that term social justice has come into play in the past 2 or 3 decades as it relates to the work that Dr. King and Fred Shuttlesworth and Rosa Parks and Edie Nixon and folk that you may not even recognize their names have done. They have done the lead work. They have laid the blueprint, and it all comes down to how we proceed from here. How do you face opposition? How do we face discrimination? How do we face prejudice? How do we face the ills that have been put upon us? We know what they are. And I think that the visiting of the sites that are here in Montgomery have outlined and presented an opportunity to delve into uh, the workings and why we need to be vigilant now. Why we have to be vigilant now in terms of facing the facts and dealing with them. The folk I had yesterday were from England, and I did not know, some of you world travelers, most of you are, know Mark is, and one of the things that they said to me was, well, we don't even carry guns. We don't have guns in our possession. We don't walk around with a gun in our hand or in our. And so those kinds of ills that are plaguing America is really something that is a different cause. It's a different, we're facing issues that we're not accustomed to facing. But it all boils down to what are we going to do about it? And I think that folk don't know what to do about it. And the presentations that are made here in these museums, not just the Rosa Parks Museum, which is a wonderful experience as it relates to having a beginning of how social consciousness, social justice consciousness came to be. How would a minute little 5'2" demure 42-year-old lady seamstress changed the course and the dynamics of civil rights? It was in 1955, on December 1, 1955, Rosa Parks started her day, just her normal day of going to work. And just in the matter of a few hours, as she took that seat to go home in her normal seat, in her normal place, that she changed the world. So there's that story. But then now, currently, right now, a man named Brian Stevenson, who I'm sure you know the name, some people don't, changed the whole perspective of the narrative as it relates to how do we get here? What was the beginning of discrimination and racism? And he starts all the way from enslavement, which is a term that people, when they talked about slavery, they didn't talk about enslavement. There's a difference because the folk that were stolen from Africa and other places were not slaves. They were free people living their own lives, doing their own culture, being who they were, and then they became enslaved as they were brought on ships in horrible conditions. So the project that Brian Stevenson has created has brought to mind that whole perspective, and it goes from the beginning of time and covers the entire United States. Most people say, "Oh my gosh, what's it like living in Alabama? Is it still, y'all still have to worry? Is it still segregated?" It's like, what's it like living? No, they say, what's it like living in Alabama? I say, what's it like living in the United States? Because once you see the statistics on the map that's inside that museum, you're going to be, uh, the woman yesterday that was with me, by the way, she was a white woman, British, wonderful person, and she could not stop crying. She could not stop crying. And I oftentimes have to really embrace people because it wasn't them, but she said it wasn't that. It was the idea that a human being could treat another human being the way that they've been treated. And then she paralleled that to how we are looking at what's going on in Gaza. All of these are inhumane atrocities that are happening to a people. So that experience, and if we didn't do anything else, because what I would plan to do with your itinerary, I'm working on another itinerary for some people who want to get everything in a day. So it can't happen. So I'm trying to tailor that because you have to really decide what are you going to leave out, and I don't want to leave out anything. So the number of days that you spend will be worthwhile spending because we have to learn how to deal with current day situation, and we have a blueprint in the civil rights landscape that's here in not just Montgomery. It's in Selma. It's in Birmingham. It's in Tuskegee. People say, "What Tuskegee?" Yes, Tuskegee. The Tuskegee Airmen's Museum. What they went through. They didn't just walk in there and become a pilot and everything was okie dokie. It wasn't until decades later that they even were recognized for the work that they did. So it is not, this is not Disneyland y'all coming to. This is a learning opportunity to understand and know how can we move forward? How can we face the issues that are facing us today? It's in our face today. More more devastating than even 1955 was. Primarily, the 1955, the Rosa, the Montgomery bus boycott was dealing specifically with injustice on transportation, local transportation. That was the issue. Now, the issues have multiplied and they've become more devastating and they affect us all. If you say, well, oh, I'm okay. I got my Social Security today. Well, I'm not on this. I'm not on that. I don't get that. But anything that affects your neighbor affects you. And we are responsible for helping one another. So this it exposes to the atrocities that have been experienced by a people. And once we understand humanity, that we're all in this thing together. So I want you to come and I want you to visit. The first thing I would have on the itinerary would be the legacy sites because there are three of them. One of them includes a boat ride. across the Alabama River to a site where they brought the enslaved folk uh, launched. That boat was launched, and they were taken off. And you have not seen anything like this. I was there yesterday, and there's a new exhibit even there. The sculptures in that park, you will never see them anywhere else. It's the most captivating monument park you've ever experienced. I don't even know if there's another monument park, but nonetheless. And then there's a brand new, Mark, you might want to consider this because I heard that this new hotel being built by EJI, Equal Justice Initiative, that's the name of Brian Stevenson's uh, um, organization. The hotel apparently is less than the Renaissance. So the if you could see this place, the hotel is called Elevate, and it's just it's a site on its own. But anyway, I want to, and I'm glad that the 2026 is your target date because that will give them the opportunity to have opened and gotten everything together. But the visit is going to be, and then I'm not going to exclude the other sites. You will see the Rosa Parks Museum, and you will see Dr. King's former church, the church that first and only church Dr. King ever was a pastor of. Not he was never the pastor of Ebenezer. A lot of folks say, "Oh, he's the pastor." No, he was not the pastor. His dad was. His father was, Daddy King, who taught him, and then of course we'll visit the Freedom Rides Museum, which has gone through a renovation, an upgrade. So then that's another new experience. It's a Freedom Rides Museum. So I'm probably over my time, and I'm just going to let you go. And I just wanted to highlight and tell you the importance of this visit. It is not a tourist visit. This is a movement visit. So thank you so very much for the opportunity. If you have any questions, Mark can get them, send them to me. If you want to talk to me, Mark has my number. Uh, don't sleep on this trip if you can. Don't come. I'm telling you, it's life changing. Thank you.